What's up, party people? Welcome. Little DFW Real Estate Weekly. We do this every week. We talk DFW real estate. We got a full crew in studio. The whole gang's here. Talk about Christmas and all that's going on. Today is Pearl Harbor Day, a day that has lived in infamy. A day of a sucker punch, as Toby Keith would have said. And we're just grateful for all the folks that keep us safe and respond when the world tests us, and continues to realize that when Americans are united, that is a good thing for us and a bad thing for our enemies, and we hope and pray that that continues to be the case. Listen, we got a lot to get into today. We got a lot to be thankful for. We've been celebrating a lot lately. We enjoyed Thanksgiving thoroughly with our annual Pie Day, where we gave out hundreds of pies to friends, family, past clients. I don't like the term past clients, by the way. Courtney, how do you feel about it?
I don't like that either. We're always a family. We're always there for them.
Yeah, it's like they bought and sold in the past, but they're still clients. There are forever people. They're in what we call our raving fan club. Anyway, we gave a bunch of them pies.
It was such a fun day.
Some apples, some pecans, some pumpkins.
I was toasted.
Had a cup.
By toasted, I mean exhausted with connecting with everyone.
Thank you for
not through moonshine.
No, we were not drinking. But by 4 o'clock, I was ready for a glass of wine around that fire pit. I got to be honest.
That was a great day. We got to see a bunch of our people, high fives, handshakes. There was coloring. And then we had our team Christmas dinner, which is probably for most of us, our favorite thing we get to do all year. Just spending time together, celebrating Christmas and the year that we've almost completed together, helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people gather information, buy, sell homes, remodel, protest property taxes, help family and friends with their real estate, and all those kinds of things. We also get to celebrate the impact we have. Of course, we do this for an income and for our families, and we also do that for a couple of causes we really care greatly about, and one of those is feeding children who simply need their basic needs met of just food, sometimes shelter, and when we have an opportunity, education as well. So we were able to celebrate the thousands and thousands of people that our hard work and our real estate expertise gets to impact beyond the real estate all over the globe, and certainly here locally with food, shelter, education, and spiritual love and encouragement as well. So lots and lots going on. I want to make sure that Ian hasn't forgotten, though, Courtney, that
Santa's coming to town.
Sure is.
I assure you, he has not forgotten.
I have not.
You don't think it slipped off the radar for him? Well,
it's main focus.
From time to time, he does talk about something other than Christmas. Not a lot, but occasionally.
We've got like 14 days to go.
We are in the home stretch, people. And when I say home stretch, I don't mean sprint to the finish. I mean enjoy the heart of the season.
17 days.
Enjoy 17 and a half. What are we calling
it?
Enjoy the fact that this is the greatest time of year. It's the time we celebrate the birth of a Savior, the lights on the house, the delicious foods, the giving and receiving of gifts.
The lights have been up for a little while, Todd.
That's true. It's true. Listen,
little while.
Ours went up
about a month.
Mid-November, and I like to keep it classy. I'm not saying that yours isn't classy if you go elsewhere, but I go white only. I go very bright, well-spaced, and I mean, I just love driving up at the end of the day when it's bright.
Boring.
It's one of the only.
I go multicolors and lots of inflatables.
I feel like I'm in between the two of you.
Just to be clear,
green,
his
and
hate
white
speech
and
about
white.
me being boring is not welcome here.
I didn't say you're boring.
What I said,
your home is boring,
is that I like to keep it classy, and I'm not saying that what you're doing isn't classy. That's
Always
just the way I like
classy.
it.
Okay, it's classy and clean and nice, and I understand you pull up to a beautiful home, but like, where's your Christmas cheer? On the tree in the house and in the kids' rooms, and right.
I'm Christmas music. You've heard the variety of Christmas music in the office. I like Neil Diamond's Christmas album, just to be clear.
Yeah, you introduced like some new artists to me. Like you're kind of rogue.
I celebrate the entire collection. Wink, wink. If you guys know where that quote is from.
What was your Bing Crosby that you love?
Oh, that's Cool Yule by Louis Armstrong.
Oh,
that is.
I need to listen.
I'm down with the Bing as well, though, on multiple fronts. Listen, I celebrate a wide variety of music, especially Christmas music, and I'm down for the season. But there's some real estate to talk about, and we're going to do it. And if you've got questions about your real estate, all you can do is call or text 214-310-0008. You're welcome, as my son would say, to visit us online.
TouchMoneyTeam.com.
Or just Google. That's like 4 or 5 years ago. He does not sound like that anymore.
He's a man.
TouchMoneyTeam.com.
It'd be fun to get him in here.
Well, I would if he didn't have
football
all the time, pursuing a state championship.
It's hard to hang out with a teenager, you know?
Man.
They're not available.
Anyway, we got a lot to talk about today, and we're happy to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about as it relates to your real estate. You don't have to be buying or selling, by the way. Of course, we're here to help if you're buying or selling. We got strategy sessions lined up for the whole month of January. We'd be thrilled to plug you into one at no charge, no obligation whatsoever. Just call or text 214-310-0008. But we do a lot of strategy sessions for people that are not planning to buy or sell in the near future. They're planning for 3 or 4 years down the road, or they're planning to add on to the house, or they're planning to landscape, and they just want us to be a resource and advocate for them and point them towards great resources. And we are happy to do that. Why, you might say? A, because we like using our skills and gifts and abilities to add value in your life and joy in the world. And B, from a business strategy perspective, we want to be super, super helpful to you. We want to be an invaluable friend and resource, and we know that you'll introduce us to your friends and your family members and coworkers and neighbors when they do want to buy and sell homes. So just Google Todd Tramonte, Tramonte. Even if you misspell that a little bit, you'll find us. We're all over the place online. And, of course, you can call and text 214-310-0008.
This first segment, as always, is brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his entire team over at Cardinal Financial. Reach out to Patrick if you want to talk about refinancing, if you want to talk about taking out a mortgage, or if you just have general questions about what the heck is going on that side of the business. Patrick is a great, great resource. You can start an application directly on his website, patrickgleros.com, Glaros, patrickgleros.com. 972-728-3420 is the phone number, NMLS number 308804. And as always, you can go to toddtramonteteam.com, click on the radio tab, and you can find all of the recommended pros and vendors there.
You ready for your Patrick Gleros quote of the week? Oh, stand by. Go ahead, Courtney. Are you ready?
Always.
Oh, there it is. Okay, 1971, the interest rate for a mortgage was 7.33%. If you had waited for rates to go down to buy, you wouldn't have purchased a home until 1993. You would have rented for 22 years, waiting for rates to go down. In the interim, the value of real estate quadrupled, went up 4 times. And I'm not telling you that rates aren't going to come down, because my analysis of the marketplace is that they are going to come down in a very slow, steady, gradual, boring way, generally speaking. But I tell you what, waiting and trying to time that right while prices are on the rise is foolish. So anyway, that's literally Patrick texted me that this week. We've been talking a lot lately about expectations, the cost of waiting, and how frustrated some people are that they have waited. You know, it's rare that someone looks back and is like, oh, shoot, I'm so angry that I bought 2 years ago. And he's dealing with a lot of people that are like, I've been waiting for rates and prices to come down, and this has not worked well for me. And he's like, yes, I keep reminding people that there have been massive stretches where waiting on rates was a really, really poor choice. So anyway, that's the quote of the week from Patrick Gleros.
I just don't understand that thinking, because it just, like, when does anything go down? Like, our experience is it just rises and rises. I know 2020 was an anomaly, but...
Well, cars depreciate as soon as you drive them off the lot.
It just doesn't make sense.
There's Ian. That's Ian Daniels.
Get your house.
No, I respect what you're saying, because we're trading roles here a little bit, because usually you are antagonizing us to clarify that we are not just always saying buy now, sell now. But historically speaking, over any notable period of time, let's just say 2 or 3 years or more, real estate values, especially in Dallas, Texas, without any exception, do increase over the long period. Now, there's debates about, does it increase more than this other asset or investment? That's a whole nother discussion. This is a question about people waiting for interest rates to come down because they've been told that they're going to come down. The question is, what else is happening while you wait on that? So anyway, go ahead.
I do. Now I feel like you're bringing up a good point for me.
Okay.
That I am constantly struggling with. I have this chunk of money and I'm constantly, especially listening to you day in and day out. Do I want to invest in real estate or in the stock market? And so it's almost like this conversation is interesting from that standpoint of I'm kind of watching, is it wise to get in now with these rates, or am I waiting? Which part will rise? Which part will lower? I don't know.
No one knows. So that's the short, annoying answer is literally nobody knows. Nobody knows. Even the people that would probably behind closed doors say that they're making every effort to manipulate markets to their benefit don't know. The world is too complex. Things don't start and stop at our borders and with simple decisions. So all that said, the only thing I'm sure of is that legitimately no one is 100% sure of where real estate values as a whole, real estate values in any one local market or segment of the market, or which segment of the stocks and bonds market, or which sectors of industry. Nobody knows.
Courtney, sell high, buy low.
You're fired. Okay, so also though, Courtney, historically speaking, and this is where you can start to have some confidence, in the past it has gone well for people when and both have been excellent investment vehicles. The stock market, over the long history of it, has had pretty impressive, pretty satisfactory annual returns over the long haul. Now, of course, in the stock market, you can hear from people whose life and decisions did not time out well. So their planned retirement date or planned date to start drawing down on their investments landed during a 2 or 3 year stretch where the market lost a lot of returns, and it might have taken a decade to gain those back. The same thing can be true for real estate, but has been less true for real estate. One of the things that I'm beginning to believe more than I used to is that real estate is, I think I'm higher on real estate, more confident in real estate as a wealth preservation tool than ever before. If you're wise, it's very difficult to lose a lot of money in real estate. And if you're wise, it's pretty achievable to make some really good money in real estate. Now, the people that you hear about getting rich overnight, that's usually not happening in real estate. That's like they started a company and either were brilliant or got lucky or timed something really right. Your stock can 5X in a year. Your real estate is almost never going to 5X in 1 year, but your real estate might go up 3% to 10% for the rest of your life. That's going to establish, create, slow, methodically grow, and compound wealth pretty darn well without a lot of volatility. These places where you can 5X, 10X your wealth, there's tremendous volatility. So the stock market historically over long periods of time has produced great returns with little to no management demands, like real estate does have some management demands. So those are two categories that I think are worthy of discussion and honestly probably worthy of some complementary strategy where you're doing some of both. I would say if you have no knowledge and total fear about one, then I would weight the other one more heavily, where you have clarity and confidence and understanding. But it's a really fair question, and I don't think anyone that tells you all of one, none of the other is really very helpful. But a lot of times people are after these rapid, massive returns, and they are possible. They are not probable, but they're likely found in other places. And that's another really interesting observation of, should you even pursue that type of gain? I would say no, but people have found themselves in situations where they felt like they needed to. So there's an interesting investor minute that turned into 5. But I think that's a good, thoughtful question. I appreciate you addressing it because I do this all day, every day, and I'm thinking that all the time. Next time I have some available investment funds or I get out of something and I have the returns from that, do I want to put it back into real estate? Do I want to put it into some slow and steady, boring, doesn't take a lot of brain energy from me? By the way, life stage is different. If you've got a bunch of young kids and that's where your energy is focused, then you probably want to invest in something that doesn't demand as much of your time and energy. There are other seasons of life where you can be a little more active.
I know I get accused of tearing people down on this show. Courtney, good job. Good question.
How about that?
Thank you.
How about that?
It's good to be encouraged today.
That's a great question. Okay, what else are we working on? Is it crazy to buy a house during the holidays? What do you think, Courtney?
I mean, I think you could play it to your advantage, but I personally, I wouldn't have the bandwidth.
Okay, Ian?
I think it's crazy if it's within 2 weeks of the actual holiday day.
Which holiday?
Christmas.
Okay.
Just because I want to be settled. Like, I would want to be settled in the home.
You both gave me a very helpful example of my answer, which is I want you to do whatever is best for you and your family and your finances. If for you, your family would not tolerate or appreciate it, wouldn't benefit your family within 2 weeks of the holiday, then you shouldn't do that. If you, Courtney, are thinking, I get how the math could be advantageous for me, but it sounds terrible, then you would only do it if the math was so good that it was worth the frustration, because you're acknowledging that with that would come some frustration. I agree. Generally, for my family, I would not want to be celebrating. We have a bunch of birthdays. We do Christmas pretty extensively in kind of multiple junctures. I would not be wanting to do that with unopened boxes or in a place that I was no longer comfortable or familiar. And I'm not a money-hungry dirtbag, but I can tell you for the right transactional value, I could probably pull off a creative solution for 1 year. I would also tell you, if you're not in a life stage or a situation or your tradition doesn't value that the same, that it is strategically an excellent time to be a buyer. And if you're careful, also a seller, but especially a buyer. There are some reasons that because almost no one else wants to do that, if you do, you can win and win really big. I'm talking like financial leapfrog, like you're 5 years ahead of where you would have been, 10 years ahead of where you would have been, because you went into a situation that most aren't willing to and took advantage of it in an ethical, healthy way.
Okay, but what are the complications with my home being decorated for the holidays?
Good question. We have some good videos on this on the YouTube channel, so just search my name on YouTube, Todd Tremonti. But the short answer is this. Research and my experience show that if you have a traditional level of decorations, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever, it is a slight advantage, if not a neutral. And on rare occasions, if it's a negative, it's a barely negative. When it's a negative, it's rarely like someone's just, I can't imagine myself living here. It's that if you've decorated in a significant way, they have a hard time envisioning the home in a normal day-to-day environment. So, for example, if we have a client that's selling during this season, which we have lots, and they ask, what should we be doing? Or we suggest, we say, look, go ahead and decorate for the holidays. Are you kind of a light minor decorator, moderate, or significant? If they said significant, we would say, hey, strategically speaking, this year it's probably better to find yourself in the moderate range. Like if you have 12 Christmas trees. No
inflatables this year,
could you do 2 or 3 instead of 12?
No, I cannot.
And if by the way, if they said that, I'd say great. Just so you know, there's a chance we're going to lose a couple of percentage points on your resale value. So either let's wait to put it on the market, or let's be willing to compromise, or let's just acknowledge that might cost us. There might be a certain number of people or families that are like, I don't know, that was just a little much for me. I couldn't really fully envision my family there. So, but historically speaking, it's a slight positive. People are in an optimistic, excited, slightly like emotional uptick of the joy of the holiday, or the optimism or the excitement and the warm and fuzzies, you might call it. And so generally speaking, that's fine, especially if people are willing to tone it back just a little. But you should not have to sterilize your house of the holidays if you're thinking about selling. We think it's a slight advantage, and we can help people get that balance just right, maximize the resale value, enjoy the holidays. By the way, you can sell your house on December 23rd, or I'm just using that as like a metaphor, and not move out, not have to pack up and go until January or February or even March potentially. That is strategically actually pretty wise depending on your situation. If you are a buyer, that is a great way to handle it. Like, hey, we went out and negotiated in a very low competitive, low traffic market, but we didn't actually move until late January or February. Win, 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 win. So worth thinking through. Great question, by the way.
DP Lambert, Goosehead Insurance. That's who you need to reach out to about your home insurance, your auto insurance. We got to hang out with a little bit with DP recently.
Yeah, we did.
He came to our Pi Day and hung out with some clients, and it was great to see him and just kind of catch up and hear what's been going on in his life, in his world, in the insurance world. Always
just
good
a really
to
good
see
dude.
DP. He just is.
Is highly qualified, super expert, very communicative, by the way, which is maybe the most distinguishing factor. Saved us a ton of money for many, many years. Helped me with all home and auto, and on the occasion that I need a policy that he doesn't carry, he's connected me with wonderful people. DP Lambert at Goosehead Insurance. Just email him, dp.lambert@goosehead.com. That's dp.lambert@goosehead.com. And if you were to forget DP's information or anybody else's information, Ian, what would you do?
You would go to toddtremoniteam.com. You would click on the radio tab, and you will find all of our recommended pros and vendors right there.
That's right. And so if you ever forget anything, or you forget, how do I find the videos or the podcast or Todd's team, you can just Google my name, Todd Tremonti, or go to toddtremoniteam.com. We're pretty easy to find. Not as easy to spell, Tramonte, 2 D's on Todd. But if you get close enough, I promise you'll find us, whether you're on Google, Bing, or any other resource. We've made a grand effort for 20 plus years to have enough things out there that you can call us, text us, click a button, fill out a form, do just about whatever works for you in this stage of your question or need, and we will match that. We're not going to kick your door down and beg you to sign something if you don't need that yet, or you're not ready, or you're not an ideal fit for us, but we are really, really committed to being a helpful, valuable resource for you. And obviously our goal is that if we are a fit for each other, when the time is right, that we would earn your trust and earn your business. So you can go to toddtremoniteam.com. You can just Google Todd Tremonti, search it whatever browser or whatever you use. And you can always just save this phone number in your phone, which people aren't picking up the phone much anymore. But if you would like to shortcut and just get an answer from our real estate pros on how to help you with your life and your real estate, save this phone number, 214-310-0008. That's 214-310-0008. Now, when we come back after the break, we're going to be answering all of your questions. We have lots of questions this week on just real estate goals. People that are thinking about 2025, and they're thinking, there's some things I'd like to get done next year. I'd like to buy my first rental. I think we're finally going to sell and move someplace larger, or it's time to go ahead and downsize, or get out to the lake, or move back home, or whatever the case is. We're going to talk to you about how you achieve those goals, how we can help you with a free strategy session. By the way, if you already know you would like a free strategy session with one of our full-time professionals to answer your questions, to take a peek at our 2025 real estate market outlook, or just to get some clarity on something related to your house or your apartment, townhome, condo, home on land, or any of those things, just call or text strategy to 214-310-0008. Go online to toddtremoniteam.com. Google Todd Tremonti, whatever it is that you want, whatever method of communication you prefer. And we here at the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team will make whatever effort, any effort we can to make your life easier and more valuable when it comes to your real estate. As you enjoy the holiday season, as I hope you do, and you watch Christmas movies, the question is this, Courtney and Ian, the question is this: what are not only the greatest, but also the most interesting Christmas movie houses? We're talking the houses that are the settings for great Christmas movies.
It's a great film question because it's wild how iconic they are.
Have I ever told you about the class I took in college called feature film writing?
I mean, I took a film class too. No, you didn't.
I took several. Feature film writing was a riot. I mean, It was wheels off. We'll talk about it later. All right, folks. I am Todd Tremonti. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti, but I am not alone in studio. We don't do this thing by ourselves. We got Full Price Courtney in studio with her mic, and we've even unmuted it. So stand by.
Merry Christmas.
We've got the Yanni Donnie, the English wonder himself, who Christmas is just a little different, but pretty delightfully, if I say so myself. And we are all in on Christmas movies, Christmas music, the joy of Christmas, the birth of Christ, even a little bit of the commercialization here. And by a little bit, I mean a lot.
A lot.
So we're going to get into Christmas movies, but we are also still taking your real estate questions. We're making the Christmas movie house tie-in at the moment, but we're going to take your questions. So 214-310-0008. Just text us whatever question you've got about buying, selling, remodeling, investing, improving, enjoying, anything related to your house, and we'll get you some answers and try to offer some value in your life. 214-310-0008. Just Google Todd Tremonti or go to
ToddTremontiTeam.com.
All right. Ian, what would you say, I don't care what category you put it in, but what would you say is the most interesting house in a real estate movie?
In a real estate movie?
Christmas movie, sorry. House.
I don't have that list.
Oh, sorry. I apologize that I said real estate on our real estate radio show that we occasionally don't talk about real estate on. Okay, Christmas movie house.
I can give you my top 5, Todd.
You're just going to shotgun this thing. All right, let's hear it.
Top 5. Number 5, the Plaza Hotel in Home Alone 2.
That was their residence for a bit,
Yep.
and so I'll count it.
Yep, they had the Christmas tree there.
They did.
Number 4, Nakatomi Plaza in Die Hard.
Okay, that's a cheap shot. I'll allow it, but it's just people feel the need to insert. Die Hard's become, there are people that I bet haven't even seen Die Hard that have to inject it into the Christmas movie conversation just to be a contrarian.
I was going to say.
It's a classic.
I am by nature a contrarian, and so I tip the hat to it, but I'm exhausted by it.
Number 3, all of the houses in Whoville, including the Grinch's Grotto.
Oh, solid.
So
solid.
I had the Grinch's, I didn't say grotto, the Grinch's house, all of the houses in Whoville.
Yeah, they're just cool. They're just fun.
I love when
I think-
she's...
Yeah,
You're talking
just-
about the live action?
Yeah.
When she's like putting
Yeah,
up
yeah,
the
yeah.
lights?
Yeah.
Hello,
It's great.
Martha.
I like all the mechanisms in the Grinch's, all the insanity
Yes.
of it.
All right, here we go. Number 2, every single Santa's house in all movies, especially Elf, because mainly Mr. Norwal is living close by.
Okay. You are awarded no
like
points,
I
and
know.
may God have mercy.
That was a
on your
reach.
soul.
Number
As a matter of
1,
fact, no one is okay.
the house in Home Alone.
Obviously.
Okay, so clearly Home Alone is gonna get the nod for for the most iconic. I have a contender for the most iconic, and I'll bring it up here shortly.
Okay.
But my favorite thing about the Home Alone house rolling around the internet is the annual question that comes up. You know where I'm going with this?
What, who lives there now?
No.
What?
The question that comes up every year across social media.
What did he do for a
What
living?
did Kevin McAllister's dad do for anyway?
It's so true. To fly everyone
it's like
to Paris.
a 3-story Buzz's room up at the top, plus the basement. We're calling it 4 stories now.
Yeah.
Quite the house
So good.
for a kid to be left alone.
Have you
in.
seen it nowadays? Have you seen the recent video of it? Because it
don't
was
know.
for sale.
I see it.
So the whole downstairs where Kevin would go down is now a half basketball court.
The basement?
Yeah, it is incredible looking. Look it up online.
So I just would like to point out that every time people reference Home Alone as a great movie, which I concur.
Sure.
What atrocious parents.
And she was 36. That's the shookness.
Just horrible.
That mom was
We've all made
36.
mistakes. I'm not saying I've never made that kind of mistake. I mean, I've made some stupid mistakes. In theory, you could see how it would unfold. But the fact that at the end, Kevin isn't like, don't touch me.
Yeah. Mom.
It's just unbelievable. Anyway,
Okay, my house to contribute is the English house from The Holiday.
That's
It's
solid.
every
Well
woman's
played.
dream.
well played. Now, your dream would be much larger,
to
but
be
it's cute.
alone in that place for Christmas.
Oh, you'd be miserable in
Heaven.
4 hours.
Look how darling.
It's darling.
It's so
This is a radio
precious.
show, so people can't see it, but
Well, the
Courtney's looking
holiday.
at her computer screen. That's
And the LA house for that matter.
when they switch,
when
by
they
the way.
switch.
I would like to propose that the house from A Christmas Story,
Yeah.
the leg lamp in the front window,
That's good.
the is it the furnace that he's always banging on down in the basement? It's just a classic traditional. I have memories, and I've never obviously been in that house. That one's also been purchased, and I think it's a museum now. So some pretty funny real estate aspects there. I have got.
Oh, it says that. Yeah, the house is a museum you can visit.
Yeah, there you go. I've got thoughts about. Has anybody seen The Family Stone?
No.
Oh yeah.
Super sad. You should watch it. It's holiday relevant. It is about the holidays, but it's not necessarily about Christmas. It's a really good movie, but it is sad. And the house itself is great. It's just one of those houses that when you see the movie, you're like, that family, that house is super cozy. It's approachable. It's super great. It's got all the weird, quirky rooms. They've like maximized the house because they have a bunch of kids and all that stuff. But that house feels like the kind of Christmas I want to host. If that sends the message, right? Where like everyone's welcome. It's food, family, fun, joy, connectedness, all the things. And I love it. I love it a lot. So I had some of the other ones. I had Home Alone, of course. I had Grinch. But The Family Stone is my wild card because it just communicates the type of Christmas celebration I want to have where everybody's welcome. It's comfortable. Kick your shoes off, lean in, let's celebrate together. So good stuff. But let us know, what is your favorite house from a Christmas movie? And let us know on the social medias, on the socials. Just find me, Todd Tremonti Realtors, just about anywhere. Feel free to comment or message if we need to get into it a little bit, what your favorite houses from Christmas movies are. By the way, what's relevant about that? Well, we all dream. You see someone else's house. Oh, man, I'd love to have that feature. You go to a birthday party. You're like, oh, we could do that at our house. And Christmas is one of those times where our houses really get to not necessarily show off, but be utilized, be maximized. Sometimes you have family staying in another room. You're maximizing how many people you could sleep, or you're celebrating, or potentially putting up multiple trees. You're using the yard. You're stashing presents or whatever. So it's just one of those times we get to fully utilize the house, and you see somebody else do that, and it helps you dream a little bit of how you can utilize yours. There you go. That's what we've got. Houses from Christmas movies.
This first segment was brought to you by Patrick Gleros and his team at Cardinal Financial. Reach out to Patrick if you want to talk to him about refinancing, taking out a mortgage, if you just have questions. Patrick is our go-to expert in the mortgage industry. PatrickGleros.com is where you can go to start an application. 972-728-3420 is the phone number. NMLS number 308804. Actually connected a friend of mine with Patrick this past week.
As did I. It's a double-double. How about that? Listen, you just can't do any better. PatrickGleros.com. Now, Courtney.
Yeah.
I think you have a question brewing, and I'm willing to try to answer it if you're into that sort of thing. But do you want to go there, or do you want to talk about Grapevine Christmas first?
What's my question?
Football.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I found this cool article about how football, like,
I just wish everybody could see Ian's face right now.
how team loyalty influences their home search.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fascinating.
What part of that article did you find so fascinating?
Well, that the way that people's like loyalty to their team, like either they want to live where, like this is 1 in 5 NFL fans.
Mm-hmm. What?
Their team loyalty had a huge influence on their home search. And
Yes.
so either they wanted to be where their team is, or they switched their loyalty
Based on where they
where they ended up moving.
I think
That means they had no loyalty.
I think the point here is that people care so much about NFL football. By the way, I think college football it's definitely in certain parts of the country, without a shadow of a doubt, be like 3 times more significant. So broadly speaking, where does football come in to your real estate picture? I think it matters. I'm not saying it necessarily should, but it does. So worthy of discussion. So for example, if you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, which most of our friends and listeners do, there are communities. You might be an Oklahoma fan. And so you're like, I appreciate that my neighbor across the street and down is an Oklahoma fan. But if you're a Texas fan, then you're like, oh, my freaking neighbors are Oklahoma fans, right? Now, that doesn't mean you can't be friends, but there's enough of that it changes how people feel. Now, to the NFL thing, if you're a Cowboys fan, I could see someone being like, I had a job offer in Washington or Philly, and I'm not going because I couldn't stand living around it's not Redskins anymore, Commanders or Eagles fans, right? Like that is a thing. It's an insane thing to me, but I get it. And I get that people gravitate towards other fans of their teams. And I certainly, if you're a lifelong Cowboys fan and you could live in Dallas and go to a game every once in a while, all that kind of stuff, you can see that being a factor. I think Ian's commentary is interesting because I think the fact that is true, and it is also true that when people move, they just switch teams. That part is foreign to me. And I'm going to make a bold confession here. I've made it before on this show, so it shouldn't be that big of a news. But I grew up in Houston, and I am, in a lot of ways, still a Houston sports fan because I don't understand changing your loyalty like that. It's crazy to me.
Well, I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So, everyone just eats, sleeps, and breathes LSU football. So having an NFL team, that is so new to me. Mm-hmm. And this, Sunday, of course we love the Saints.
Well, it's like Nebraska and some of these other places where you're like, no, that's our thing.
It is
the college.
Wild.
And by the way, in parts of Texas, high school football is almost that big of a deal where people would change their business or work or travel around high school football when it's not even their high school student. By the way, my son's been on a team that's made a run at a state championship this year. So people travel, people plan their holidays. It's a big deal.
I grew up in England.
Yes,
and
you did.
It's fair to say, the agreement in the office is there is no fandom in the US that equals the fandom of soccer fans and their teams. College football is probably the closest.
I would agree with that.
That there is. It's wild how much it means to fans in England with the football team.
To the point of regular physical violence, which, if you're into that sort of thing.
I think the article is just interesting because it is showing how people see their community and how vital, how they build it around it. It's just a vital part of people's homes and their lives.
I'm glad you said that because that was going to be my recap. Is I think what we're talking about here is really connection and community more than football. The article was about how people utilize football teams to get that and how you could be a diehard fan of a team, but if you move to another city, you want to connect and you want acceptance and you want, friendship and community to the point that you would switch teams. And I get that. Luckily, I've remained loyal to my home teams and still have friends. Maybe because I have a lot of friends that are also originally from Houston.
I regularly wake up at 6:30 in the morning to watch Middlesbrough play on TV.
Or earlier and travel to bars. Now, a bar at 6:30 a.m. is a whole nother experience with your kids.
Nothing like that first pint at 6:30 in the morning.
Watching the footy. Anyway, all of that to say, community does matter. If you're thinking about making a move, buying or selling a house, and you have questions about that, hey, where are there places near sports or near this other form of recreation or that has this type of community that feels more connected, that shares these values? We can help you with that. There are certain boundaries that a real estate professional can't cross, fair housing and some rules and protected classes and things. But by all means, we can help you find a place that you feel really excited to live and connect and enjoy shared values and hobbies and things like that. Give us a call, 214-310-0008. One of the best ways to do that is just to have what we call a free strategy session where we sit down for 30 to 90 minutes face-to-face, have a cup of coffee or a Coke or water or whatever you like, and just talk, where there's no presentation, there's no interview, there's no clipboard at all. There's a few things that we can share with you, like our 2025 DFW residential real estate forecast, what we think the market's going to do and where the opportunities are, where the risks are. But really, it's just talking about, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to invest for the first time? Do you want to buy your first home? Do you want to buy a bigger home? Do you want to downsize? Do you want some land? Do you want to leave town or come to town? We can do that by Zoom when it makes sense, but it is best to do that in person. And we have a few spots left for December, but we're also booking up most of our afternoons in January with all of our real estate pros here on the team. So just reach out if you'd be interested in a free strategy session, 214-310-0008. You cannot start the conversation of buying, selling, or investing in real estate too soon, but sadly, most people do wait too late, and then they miss out on a lot of opportunity. ToddTremontiTeam.com or 214-310-0008. Now, let's get to Grapevine.
Listen, I wanted to highlight it because it is the Christmas capital of Texas, apparently.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, this list of things to do.
There are times that a city is like, we are the old growth tree capital of Westminster. But Grapevine gets it right. They claim, and I think back up, the Christmas capital. And there's so much going on there in Christmas. So let's just bounce around a little bit of a lot of the things that Grapevine offers, and then we could talk about some of our favorites. But
ICE.
Okay, so ICE is a thing hosted at the Gaylord Texan, which if you're not familiar with the Gaylord hotels, they have these massive atriums that are like, it's like bringing the outdoors inside, plants and trails and train setups and characters and themes and all this stuff. And they do this theme where you put on this, you go and it's not cheap, but it's pretty cool. You pay, you put on these big overcoats, and then you walk through these ice sculptures.
They bring in these incredible
slides.
ice sculptures from, I think from China.
I don't know.
Is where the sculptors do it.
Yeah.
And they bring them all in. It's incredible. This
Sculptures
year
are crazy. It's themed.
This year is Rudolph. It's Rudolph this year.
You can go down these big ice slides, and they have snacks and treats and all that stuff. Pretty cool. What else?
The trains.
The trains are a big deal. The trains are there year round, but they go full on,
They're cool.
for Christmas.
Noah was actually asking if we can go there this year for ice and the trains. Those were the two things.
The fact that the whole town kind of buys in, and so there's a little bit of everything. They're known for their grapes, their grape growing, and their winemaking. And so the main drag there in what I would call downtown Grapevine, kind of the little old town Grapevine, has got your wineries and your retail stores and restaurants and bars and all that, and they're all decorated for Christmas. So just hanging out and kind of walking the street. The trains are accessible on that main drag. You can walk over to the little station. What's the Thomas the Tank Engine? They've got a little replica deal there, which is pretty cool for the kiddos.
So how I got this scar, Todd, that's on my head.
You hit it on the train?
Thomas the Tank Engine was on TV when I was about 3 years old, and I ran because the mailman was coming to deliver the mail, and I got excited, tripped on the carpet, sliced my head open on the little TV stand while watching Thomas the Tank Engine.
Wow.
Cool story. Back to Grapevine.
At Chicken and Pickle, they've set up like the igloos, those little tent things.
Yeah.
That you can like have dinner in, and it's very cute.
That's the chicken part.
Chicken pick.
Less about the pickleball.
Yeah. They've got an ice rink going.
Yeah, they do.
Lots of lights, a market, hot chocolate bar.
There's dozens of ways to enjoy Christmas lights there, whether it's out, at some of the vineyards and the drive-through Christmas light things, and then of course there's the town.
And then they're doing a Christmas drone show.
Yeah, the drone shows, by the way, are taking over. I'm a fireworks guy. I do like the fireworks, but the stuff they can do.
This is better for the environment.
Well,
do they do pantomimes this year?
I don't know.
They normally do like an English pantomime.
A pantomime.
To finish the thought on the drones, the things they can do with those drone shows, the shapes, the colors, the formations, it's pretty incredible. And honestly, in DFW, there's fireworks multiple times a year, but these drone shows are pretty spectacular.
Yes, in the Grapevine this year, they're doing Jack and the Beanstalk as the Christmas panto.
Down with Jack and the Beanstalk. By the way, if you don't know, Grapevine has an incredible food hall too. And around the holidays when it's cold and you're kind of walking around town over there, pretty great option to grab a drink, a snack, or taste a few of the different vendors there. Grapevine's got it going on for Christmas, folks. And we're not coming close to mentioning all of it. So if you've got an evening for a date or for the family outing, which we really do try to schedule as many of those as we can to kind of soak up the Christmas holiday, Grapevine has got to be on your list to go grab dinner, walk the streets, experience one of the shows or the events. Now, I love Grapevine year round. Actually, we probably go over more in the summer. Great Wolf Lodge has some great options, and we really like the Gaylord's little water park deal. There's some good deals in the summer. And then there's wine tours and all that kind of stuff. So Grapevine as a whole is just really, really cool spot, obviously, to live or to visit if you live in the Metroplex. But they Christmas very, very well. And you will enjoy an evening or even a weekend taking it all in. So check out Grapevine this holiday season. We will be, and I think you'll be glad that you did as well. Ian, does the title company really matter?
Kind of.
Buy and sell.
Kind of a big deal.
And A bad one is
really, really, really annoying
and
for everybody involved.
And a good one.
Pretty relaxing, makes it nice.
Here's the thing.
Delightful.
When you have a great title company as a buyer or a seller, you may not notice, right? It may just be that things are smooth and felt pretty easy. But if you have a bad one, you are going to notice, potentially for a very long time, significant cost of dollars, time, stress, fear, anxiety, energy, or maybe it might cost you the transaction. We are big believers that every vendor, every person, every professional in the process of buying, selling, or even refinancing a property really matters. And people often wildly and dramatically overlook the value of a good title company. We believe nobody in DFW does it better than Republic Title. With offices all over the Metroplex, we use the Richardson office all the time. We use other offices quite regularly. RepublicTitle.com, where there's tons of resources to estimate closing costs, see what that title insurance policy is going to cost, and of course, get you connected to Republic Title offices all over the Metroplex. Go to RepublicTitle.com, and then if you're buying, selling, investing, financing a property, make sure you're talking to your agent or your lender about Republic Title, and if you're working with us, we'll make sure you get a great introduction. RepublicTitle.com. Now, one other thing that we really, really enjoyed throughout the holidays as we go outside, we invite people. We're hosting nonstop. We did a charcuterie party the other day. We spend a lot of time out on our pickleball court that goodgaragefloors.com did for us. And there's one thing we're about to have them add for us there, and then we're already starting to kind of look forward to spring, summer next year. We're always trying to think ahead so we can enjoy that season, about having them do some work on our pool decks just to clean it up a little bit, make it a little bit less slippery, less dangerous. So have goodgaragefloors.com come out. Check out the garage floors, of course. Clean those up, repair those cracks, seal it, add a little bit of value, clean it up, make it more enjoyable, more useful. And then have them check out those patios, pool decks, driveways, basketball, pickleball, backyard slabs, whatever that stuff is. Any sort of solid surface or concrete coating, goodgaragefloors.com. Hey, folks, as you're thinking about next year and real estate needs, wants, goals, even if you're not buying or selling, you just want to enjoy your home, protect it, repair some things, we would be thrilled to earn your trust and be a resource to help you enjoy your home, buy a home, sell a home. Even if you're renting, we are here to help you enjoy your home more. Just go to toddtremonteteam.com or call or text 214-310-0008.